So I'm here at the beautiful Savoy Theater in Hamburg, and with me is director and writer Navot Papushado, the writer and director of Gunpowder Milkshake,
Yes.
which is the opening film of this year's Fantasy Filmfest. For our viewers who are not able to see the film right now, can you tell me with your own words what it's about?
It's a badass woman. It's a badass movie about badass women. You should all come and see it in the theater. More than that, you don't really need more than that.
Exactly right. How did you come up with the story? What was your first initial thought?
Well, for me, screenwriting and stories always come together from different inspirations of different genres and different eras. I think in this case it was the combination of something from a Sergio Leone movie, an Akira Kurosawa and Alfred Hitchcock. So it's kind of a film noir, Western, Japanese movie. When all these ideas meet each other, something new is born. And that was the case with Gunpowder Milkshake.
And when you started writing, did you have the whole story already in your head, or did it come along while you're writing it?
No, it came along while we were writing it. I mean, me and my co-writer, Ehud, we always start with this spark, and we have an understanding of, all right, we have this character, and this genre, it's an assassin, and hired killer, and she gets a job, and the job goes wrong, like in the genre, like those are the rules. But what we had was a twist on it. We had something different happening, and it kind of was like a roller coaster, like a snowball. Like, oh, this can happen, and that can happen, and where can we take it from here? How crazy can we go? So we had the initial idea, and we had a couple of action sequences we had in mind, but it needed some work to figure out how they all fit together in the same world.
And was it hard to find a title? What made you choose Gunpowder Milkshake?
Actually, it was really hard to find a title. I mean, the first ideas I had were terrible. I'm so glad we ended up not using them, but I was actually pitching all these ideas to Ehud, and like this and that, and gunpowder and this, and I was like, wait, hold a second. I'm about to go back. Gunpowder Milkshake? Yes. All right. Yeah, it's an amazing title. I'm so proud of the title.
It is indeed. These assassins, they all come together in a big library.
Yes.
And I think you have a special connection to libraries in general.
Yes, I do.
So
You did your homework.
why was it the perfect location for these people?
Well, I spent most of my school days in libraries. I just loved reading books. I wasn't very patient to stay in class. So I had this special pass where I can go whenever I want. I can just go to the library. And those librarians always felt to me like peacekeepers, like almost like sheriffs of the little town. So they were a little intimidating, but they were also very intriguing to me. And I became close friends with them. So when we were thinking about where could we put this armory, what would be the assassin's alter ego, and it was obvious, oh, librarians. For other also more thematic reasons, books are knowledge. Knowledge is a weapon, so it would be great if the books could symbolize that as well. And there's, weapons inside the books as a metaphor for the real knowledge, and how that idea kind of progressed in the movie, and what's the end, when the audience is going to see it, what's in the last book in the movie. So there's like this journey, but I'm a nerd. Yeah, books were a big part of my life.
I think it's fine. You have a wonderful cast, including Lena Headey, Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh, Paul Giamatti, and of course the always wonderful Karen Gillan.
Yes.
How did you manage to get all those big names on board?
I was very, very lucky. I mean, the first two cast members who came on board were Karen Gillan and Lena Headey as the mother and daughter. And we already had a perfect cast. Like, I was so happy. I had my first top choices for the other librarians, but never in my wildest dreams I thought I could have all my top choices. And then we had Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh, and Carla Gugino, and and then Paul Giamatti came on board. It was just wonderful. And they had, I think they loved the script. I think they enjoyed the dialogue with me, but more than anything else, they loved the idea of working with each other. And the chemistry you see on screen was also off screen. They had so much fun shooting the movie. I think if you go to their social media accounts, you can see how much fun they had while we shot the movie.
While I was watching the film, I had the feeling that you put a lot of thoughts into style and especially the colors.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like every character had its own color scheme. What can you tell me about that?
For me, color is emotion, and every color carries a certain feeling to it. So one of the first things I always do is when I start working with a production designer and a costume designer and the DOPs, talk about the color and how the movie is going to feel. And I was blessed with this amazing crew with Louise Frogley, the costume designer, David Schoenemann, the production designer, and Michael Saracen, the legendary Michael Saracen, the DOP. And we decided to create this map of palette, that every color would symbolize something. And we discussed a lot of those movies that were created in the 50s, in the Technicolor era. And what would, we would love to see Alfred Hitchcock direct a movie like this. How would that look? Like, what was the Vertigo version of an assassin movie? So color was a big concept that we tackled from very early stages.
You shot the film on location in Berlin,
Yeah.
and at the Babelsberg Studios. But it looks like absolutely looks like a Hollywood movie. So what made you choose or decide to shot it here in Germany?
First of all, I love Germany. I am German. My German isn't good. I'm practicing it, but I think I wanted to have a movie that is out of place and out of time. Like a little bit of heightened reality, almost like a fantasy. And Berlin fitted perfectly because you have all these old and new coming together, these big monumental buildings and these, new neighborhoods that were just built. So you have this interesting mixture of old and new and all this rich history. And of course you have the Babelsberg Studios, which I think are maybe the first studios to ever be built. So, and they also carry all this legacy. I mean, we shot a lot of scenes in where they shot the Blue Angel. So it had a certain feeling to it. But Berlin is just overall just such a wonderful city to shoot at and live in. I stayed. I live in Berlin now.
Ah.
So I spend my times between Berlin and London. So it was just wonderful.
So I really enjoyed diving into this world that you created.
Thank you.
Honestly, I want to go back. Do you have any plans to maybe do another one?
We have plans and we already started writing it. It's going to take a moment. We want to make sure that the script is worthy of these amazing women and the whole cast. We have something really special in the making.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much for the interview.